The fact that George Soros hadn't been investigated or arrested right now is proof that we got a deep state. And this is thoughts while thinking. And these opinions are mine. And we're talking about lobbying today, and we're talking about how it come into existence, and it come about during those Federalist Papers, I think, in 1788. James Madison and Alexander Hamilton and John Jay, they worked on those Federalist Papers, and I believe that's where the lobbyist comes in. But it's not a part of the Constitution. But some of those things in the Federalist Papers are considered and used as that, and I think this is one of them. And lobbying, the way it's set up, is a special interest pays the lobbyist, and the lobbyist pays the politician. Well, I think, with that, what can go wrong? Well, I think a lot of it's gone wrong right now. Anyway, it's created, in my opinion, the shadow government. And the shadow government is trading your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for their security. And their security is that the way it's set up now, and the lobbyist has done this, and is that the federal workers can't be fired. And they pass from one administration to the other, and they carry their extreme beliefs with them and get more extreme, seems like, every year. And that kind of protection is kind of preventing you for your pursuit of happiness. I think they're interfering with it. And there's a right way and a wrong way to go about some of this stuff. And look at the situation we're in and been in the last couple of years, we got to have it going the wrong way. And, it's illegal for the special interest to pay the politician directly. So they got to have the middleman. And so the special interest pays the lobbyist, and the lobbyist pays the politician to get what they want. Now, I can't see just a whole lot of difference in that, except we had a middleman in the middle. And that's what we call lobbying. And, most places just plain out call it graft. I think that's what it is. I just don't believe in that. That's and they say 2 out of 3 think we're doing a bad job. I wonder who the third person is. Well, that lobbyist sitting up there grinning like a real Cheshire cat, and he says, beats me. Well, I think the lobbyist is that third person, and he's just happy with what's going on. And we got that demonic activity going on so much now that I think that you're either going to be blood-washed or brainwashed, and I don't want to be either one. So we got to look at all this shadow government and stuff that we got going on, and we got to do something about this paying off of politicians to get their bills passed. We got to get the control of Congress back into the hands of the people that elected them. And the mass media and the big tech, they're supporting all that liberal stuff and the protection of all of those federal employees that can't be fired. And we've got this big old vortex working. They've got it created, and it's just rolling on down and sucking us deeper into that shadow government and into that deep state. And we've not much we can do about it until we do something about it. And the reason you don't know anything about it is because when they do something they don't like, they classify it. That's what that classified is. There's no transparency because whatever they don't want you to know, they classify it. And the big tech and the mass media, they're supporting all of that. And so we just can't delete the deep state. We got to do something about looking at that. And the deep states produce that shadow banking, and that shadow banking is not your friend either. It's kind of like this old fellow said one time, says, the banks, they loan you an umbrella when the sun's shining, but when it starts to rain, they come get that umbrella. Well, that's our shadow banking. That's control. That's the way they control, and that's interfering with your happiness. And they're producing the deep state, getting it deeper. It just sucks on down into that vortex. And and the swamp in Washington, it just keeps getting deeper. And I think that lobbying is part of it, because that deep state and shadow government is sitting there, put a chokehold in and said it's either my way or the highway. And I just don't want to be there and do that. And we got to do something about them paying those politicians off. And getting that money by the grabbing it, by just stuffing it down their nose and getting their bills passed. I don't believe our founding fathers ever intended for us to have professional politicians. I think they intended for a congressman to go to Washington and spend 2 years and come back and live under the bills they passed, and I think that's what it is. And the shadow government has produced a shadow university, and the shadow university is working to help get that deep state working, because they're taking those little minds of mush and they're telling them and all the things that's bad about this country and nothing that's good, and they're trying to get away with your freedom, because you're dangerous if you got freedom. And that shadow, in the shadows they go, and that's the way they get at that. And that shadow banking and shadow universities and shadow government is depriving you of your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it's all about this paying off the lobbyists and paying off the congressmen. And they're sitting there pulling those little strings on those puppets. Their congressman is just dancing to those lobbyists just like a puppet. And that's what we got to do something about, because that deep state tentacles wrap all the way around the world. It's just they get that strong and that bad, and they sneak around behind their closed doors, and they pass all those bills, and they classify what's going on and what's hidden in those bills, and they have control of the whole world. And that's what you think you've got local government. Well, you don't really have local government. And Hollywood has been part of that too. They're just as guilty as the rest of them, because they're supporting that. And there's always right time to do the right thing, and we got to do the right thing. We got to maybe pass time limits or something like that. Old John Wayne back there in one of his movies, he says, when tough times are, remember, the man upstairs and hope, and you just got to hang on and do your best, and that's what you got to do, and that's what we got to do. And eventually the masses of the population and the freedom seekers are going to wake up and realize they're getting burned up, that the deep state's just burning all their freedoms away, and that they have a choice, and we got a choice. We got to make that choice, and we got to do it right now. For the first time, we got to do it right, and we got to do like the old redneck says. We just got to get her done, and that's where we got to go. And if the truth kills them, let them die. That's what old Cat said, and I believe that. And we got to get to the truth, and we got to get rid of those people. And sometimes we win, and sometimes you learn. And I think over the past couple of 3 years, we've learned a lesson that we should have been learning for the last 100 years or so. And don't ever underestimate the power of planting a seed. And because if you plant a seed, you let it grow, and maybe we plant a seed, and somebody's thinking it will go along with ours because it's right. We got the truth. And they said, I've changed a lot. And I said, no, a lot has changed me. And over the past 2 or 3 years, a lot has changed me. They've got me thinking about stuff that I ought to have been thinking about for a long time. And I'm not going to let the past sentence me to a life sentence. I'm going to do something if I can. And I hope you agree with me and do something. And we got to make the best of the best and make the best of the worst, and keep our standards high and keep on pushing and achieving, and don't let all that negative stuff get us under. And I hope our great-grandkids and grandkids will tell us that we did an excellent job of getting our freedom back and starting our country all over again. And that's Thoughts While Thinking, and thank you for watching. And it's adios, amigos, and we'll see you on the flip side.